Welcome to the program Youth Perspective on Independent Television. I am your host, Joy Obaisiamo. And as you know, on this special program, we look at societal matters from the youth perspective. And today is no different. Today, we will be looking at, business as a young adult, going into business, navigating the business world and, having to achieve success. I will be having this conversation today with my guest, Ambassador Terry Osemigye. He is the MD CEO of Unbeatable Motors and also the vision bearer of Educa Auction. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Joy. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
All right.
All right, let's quickly get into the conversation. Let me know about my viewers. Let's get into that particular, let's just hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
What are those traits do you think that, young adults should have before they get into business? Some persons will say that this person is born to be a businessman.
Mhm.
Is there something like that?
Thank you so much for that. Actually, to start up a business as a young man, as a youth, it actually do not require so much. Yes, it don't require so much. First of all, you need to identify the kind of business that you want to do. You need to know exactly what you want to do. And then you also need to have passion for the kind of business that you think you also want to do. When you have all these things, I think you don't need too much, because these are the things that will drive you to be able to, do this kind of business or do whatever kind of business that you want. Another thing is that as a youth, you can start very small. You don't have to start big. All right. But some of the youths today are actually looking for a way to start so big. And that's the reason why you see that so many youth are not actually, finding themselves in business. Again, there are some certain business that you can start without, like with little or nothing. All right. But those business can look like, a business that some youth do not want to identify themselves with, because some of them see themselves as graduates. They see themselves as people who have more knowledge, who have gone far and wide, and for that reason, they want to start so big. But if you look inward, there are some business that you can actually start with small, and you begin to follow it up from there, little by little, and you grow from there. So what you really need as a young man is not so much. Be determined, and then look for a business, and then start small. That's what I would advise any youth out there.
All right, you're a businessman yourself, MD of Unbeatable Motors. You're
Yes.
into automobiles.
Yes.
And so tell us, starting up, you didn't just start now, right?
Yeah.
What are those challenges that, personally from your end, what are those challenges that you faced, coming up right now?
All right. For me, it's something that I would like to really share. And that's why I'm so glad that you're asking me this question right now. I remember in 2009, when I decided to go into the car business, my challenge was capital. You will agree with me that to do car business, you can't start small. There's no way you can start small doing a car business. That's just the simple truth. So, but truly, when I started, I didn't have the cash, the capital to start. But what I did was that I got engaged with the business, and I started learning the business while I was trying to do other little business, like selling of clothes, selling of shoes to my friends, to my family. I started doing that, and that was how I was able to, generate some few amounts of money far back 2009. I think it's about 16 years now. I started like that, and before you know it, because the business after that time was the business that I really want to do, I actually look around and I said to myself, car business is the only business that I like. But then I didn't have the capital. So I kept on little by little in other businesses, and I started raising money, started gathering money till get a particular point. The thing is, while I was even in the car business, I didn't have money to buy, but because I was already in the business, I was already doing some form of marketing of cars. So I started, getting calls from family and friends.
Like a car agent.
Yes, like they wanted to buy from me. They even want to ask me, okay, I saw you posting, can you advise? So that was how I started. And before you know it, these persons will actually want to buy from me. What I do is that I try to get from these people who own this vehicle at that time, and then I sell and then make my own little profit. So that was how I started little by little. And before you know it, I was able to raise some certain amount of money. I could remember very clearly the first money that I raised to actually bought a car to sell was about 380,000. That was in the year 2012. All right.
That's a long time.
Yes, I raised 380,000, and I was able to, look for a particular car to buy, and that was my first car. All right. And even the 380,000 at that point, when I actually wanted to buy the first car, the car was like 420,000. All right. So what I did was that I have a boss of mine that I was working with then, of blessed memory, though he's late now. His name is Idaosa Jos Bazwaye, JBS Estate. I used to work with him under the entertainment sector then. And then I went to meet him and I told him, I said, sir, I'm into this business. And for the first time, I've been able to raise some money and I want to buy a car to start selling. Let me just start with this. And he was like, oh, really? I said, yes. Okay. What do you have? How much do you have? I said, I have 380,000. I said, okay, how much is the vehicle? I said, 450,000. He said, okay, no problem. That was how he gave me the balance of that, Now, he told me one thing after some time. He said, the reason why I gave you that money is because over time, I have seen it in you that you are a business-minded person and you are serious with what you're doing. And that's why I gave you that money. So ever since then, I was able to grow that 450,000 naira into millions. I grew to a stage whereby I was able to, open my own car shop. I was able to incorporate my own business, so this is how I started. So while I was also doing that, another thing that you must also look at is when you are trying to grow a business, you must try to move with the right set of people. You must have to follow good link, good network. You must have to, be able to go out to events and try to, identify with people, connect with people. And you also need to let people know this is what I'm doing. All right. And while you are doing that, you also have to look at the area of taking your business beyond just, staying there. You have to take it to the social media. In fact, I could tell you for free that in car business in Edo State, I am one of those who started marketing on social media. I can tell you that in Sapler Road as a whole, where I started my car business, I am one of those. And so many car dealers will tell you that when this issue of, using WhatsApp to get to customers, get to your, bring your co-dealers together and, I started it. Until now, one of those, group that I created has amounted to about 43 million people on Facebook.
That's quite a huge
yes.
success. And so talk to us about, those down moments that you have to now learn from. It's not all rosy.
True.
A lot of times.
True.
So talk to us about that, the failures where you have to, stand up and be like, okay, I have to keep pushing. Yeah. Things like that. How was it for you, the journey?
Okay. Yes, every business has their ups and downs. When I was coming up, I used to have, some of these challenges like you not having in my own line of business, because every business have their own various challenges. Yeah. So my own business, my biggest challenge was that I didn't have enough capital to start it, at one point, at a given point. So I started small, and the bad thing about car business is if you have just a car, the car can remain there for almost a year. All right, because you have just a car.
It doesn't go bad.
Not like it doesn't go bad. The good part is that it does not go bad. Car business, when you buy your car, you leave it there. It can be there for another 2 years. If you want to sell, you can still make that profit that you want to make, even beyond the profit that you have planned to sell before.
Wow.
All right, but the bad thing is that if you do not have enough capital to be able to have at least 5 cars, that's when you are sure of selling at least once every month. When you have enough cars, you are sure of selling at least once every month. But if you have one car, you can be there for 6 months you've not sold, because perhaps that your car is not the car that people really want at that point. But if you have more of those vehicles, you can always sell. And so what it means is that, I wasn't making money more often. But the business is so lucrative. People make money here and there every now and then, but it depends on when you have enough capital. So it took me a very long time to be able to, kind of pass that stage. And I was able to pass that stage because I was well recognized in the business. I got involved, with so many people, politicians, entertainers, businessmen. And if I couldn't sell my car, as a friend, as a colleague, or as somebody who I've done business with before, you can decide to bring a car for me to sell. So before you knew it, I started getting people giving me, so much vehicle in my own care to sell. So before you know it, I'm having like 10 cars already. All right. Because over time, I've been able to, sell myself. And not just that, you have to be able to show people that, yeah, they can trust you with money. Because dealing with car business is dealing with money.
Exactly.
And people can come and give you a car worth, 10 million and say, help me to sell. So it's like giving you 10 million naira cash to help sell. So people always look for that person that they can trust. That person who has that, fear of wanting to keep his or her name, to ensure that their integrity, exactly, that's the right word, of wanting to keep their integrity. Those are the people that they are always looking for to engage in business. So if you are also trying to do any form of business, you must also ensure that you have integrity. And that integrity must be seen in you. Because people just look at you and they give, maybe based on the conversation they must have had with you, based on one or two questions they must have asked somebody about you. So they will want to know if you really have that integrity before they can do business with you.
All right, my viewers, if you have been following us right from the onset of this, program, Youth Perspective, firstly, at some point we've talked about integrity, and we've talked about how you can be able to go into, and today we're talking about business. So you see that, we're just following it step by step, and now integrity is actually coming in again.
Yeah.
We're going to take a very short break right now. Then when we come back, we'll dig deeper into this discussion. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still Youth Perspective on Independent Television. And I still remember your host, Joy Obaisiagbon. And I am with Ambassador Terry, talking about, youth in business, having to achieve success and navigating, the challenges in business. So let's move forward, actually. Talking about mentorship. You talked about networking. I don't think in any business that any young adult would want to go into, they wouldn't want to need a mentor in it, right?
Yeah.
So talking about mentorship, how do you think young adults can actually leverage mentorship in achieving success in business generally?
Okay. I think mentorship is one way to grow in business, because you must learn from someone before you can grow in that business. And it also requires a lot of, being dedicated. All right. Because people like to take those who are dedicated before they can say, okay, this person, let me show them this way. So first of all, you have to be very serious with yourself, and then you have to be loyal. If you're working with somebody, you have to be loyal so that the person can actually use his whole complete mind to say, okay, let me, tutor you very well. So mentorship is very, very important. All right. Personally, I actually went through mentorship in car business. In fact, before I got to this stage, I have tried some certain things before I actually, came into car business. Okay. So that means that you have to keep trying, till you are able to get what you feel you want to do. And you got to keep meeting the right people and making them understand that you are ready to learn. You are ready to, follow their footsteps and let them mentor you. All right. So when you keep bringing out this form of attitude, people will take you so seriously. All right. So for me, my car business, I am 100% open. By the grace of God, I've been able to, mentor so many youths, in the past few years, let me say the past 10 years, I've been able to mentor some youths. And by the grace of God, one of the first youth I mentored in car business is overseas now and is doing very well. And There's no time that he comes to this country that he doesn't, reach out to me. When he's even there, he calls me, and I have so many of them still here in this country that I've been able to also mentor,
Is
and
it
they are all doing well.
Yeah, you see the way you talk about this your car business, you're making it, look as though, I feel like I should, come into it and of
Well,
course it's very lucrative, right?
yeah, car
Yeah.
business is a lucrative business. Another thing is in car business, even if you don't have money, you can actually be there and you'll be making money. Remember, I
Okay.
told you that at a point I started getting people giving me cars, because I was already learning the business, and before you know, they were giving me cars. As a matter of fact, I started getting people giving me cars before I was able to even raise money to buy my car.
But let's be very realistic right now. If I'm to come into this your car business, right?
Yeah.
Talking about the agency part of it, can we actually balance that part? Like, because when you talk about the real estate, people will be like, oh, 10%, 5%, 15%, 20%. I even heard right now that some persons are collecting 15%, right? So how does
Yeah.
it really work in, your line of business?
Okay, fine. Ours is not percentage. It's called commission.
Oh,
All right. But there's a particular slang that we call it in our business. It's called do my share. All right. It's like saying you're able to do the business, so you have to share. All right. Now, in our business, you get commission based on any car you are able to help sell. All right. And there's no particular amount to the kind of commission that you might get.
yeah, sorry, to cut you short very quickly.
Yeah.
Talking about these finances in business, how do you think we can actually manage, having to, take care of responsibilities and knowing when to take risks in business, generally speaking?
Well, taking risk in business is something that one must always do, because if you don't take risk, at times you may not grow.
Exactly.
But again, before you take the risk, be sure that you have been mentored. Be sure that you've known, the business. Be sure that you understand the business that you want to go to. Be sure that yes, you like the kind of business that you want to go into. That's what matters, because getting, capital to do a business is one of the biggest, problem anyone can face. It's always not easy to get capital to start a business. That is why I said earlier that you must have to start very small. All right. In my kind of business right now, as it is right now, you can be there and helping to market my business. And when I sell, I send you a commission, and that commission is from 100,000 and above. All right. It depends. If it is between a car of like maybe 2, 3 million naira, be sure that you can get like 100,000. If it is between a car of 5 million, be sure that you can get like 200,000. So it depends. If it's a car of like maybe 10 million naira, be sure that you can get like 500,000. I don't know if you get my point.
No, yes.
So, but it also depends on how you are able to, because another thing is when you bring somebody to come and buy a car from me, that person is your own sure connection, right? So you also have to some extent some influence in that person. So you are to do your own part to ensure that the person eventually buy from me. Because I'm not the only marketer out there. There are so many other marketers. All right. So other persons who are also selling are also trying to sell. So you who is bringing that person to me should be able to also do your best to ensure that the person eventually buys from me. All right. So by the time the person eventually buys from me, you are sure of your percentage. All right. So that is the way it's done. Whether you say it or not, as long as you're able to bring a buyer to me, before you leave, I'll tell you, send me your account number. Since you bring that buyer, and I'll send you money, because I understand that you have just done your job. Because it's not easy to get somebody to buy your product. All right. So for you to bring that person to me, you will be well appreciated.
All right. As we've heard from Ambassador Terry, he's actually an ambassador, so he's open to teaching you how to go into car business if you're willing to, help you and mentor you
Yeah.
go through it. So very quickly before we go, we cannot totally rule out, the set of people that are actually in business right now. A lot of them, their business have gone down, looking at Nigeria economy.
Yeah.
So lastly, before we go, your final words, can you actually, help us, talk to us, how do you think, people like that can actually come out from that and bounce back into business and, see that it goes well?
Okay. You see, the situation in Nigeria right now economically is telling on everybody. No business that is not feeling it right now. Even in car business, I remember some years ago, you some certain amount of money can get you like up to like 10 cars. Some years ago, with 20 million, I can get 10 cars. I don't know if you get my point.
Mm.
But that 20 million today can just get you two cars, let me say three cars maximum,
Depending on
depending on
the
the kind of car that you want to buy. And Nigerians love sophisticated, things, and the kind of cars that are actually, sellable in the market, that are of high demand right now in the market, are the kind of cars that you want to get. All right, and if you fail to go and get the kind of car that is, that is not in the market, then you'll be rest assured that you're gonna lose. You're going to lose because at the end of the day, the car will remain there, and perhaps you have to go and sell it below the price. Okay, so I will advise people now. You just have to keep on doing your best. You don't have to stop, because I know some persons who, because of the dollar increments and so many other things that have allowed for the car business to be very high, they actually step up the business. All right, and some persons like myself kept on pushing. Even though I know that the money I used to have, that I can use to buy like 5, 10 cars, I cannot buy that car again. But I don't have to just completely go out of business. I have to keep on, doing the business and hoping for the best. Hoping that yes, tomorrow I'm able to get a better capital to invest more in my business. So you just have to keep going on. And for the youths out there, let me say this, those youth in Edo State, I am very, very open. If you feel that you want to learn car business, you are sure that you are ready to learn car business, be it a male or a female. I have tutored both male and female in this business before. So if you feel you want to learn it, be free to reach out to me. By the grace of God, I have my own company where I sell my cars. I will put you through.
All right, thank you very
Yeah.
much. That's a wonderful one right there. As you've heard from my guest today, keep on pushing. Don't stop. It's not all rosy out there. We understand all businesses face challenges, right? So, thank you so much for joining us today. Until we meet again next week, I'm Joy Obaisiamo. Bye for now.